So hello everyone, welcome here to round number 8 of the 2016A NASA RallyCross Challenge season here in 2016A. We're in Vancouver, Canada at the Twig Raceway, the half-mile road course. This is going to be a great race. It's Josh Mertz bringing you the call, as always, for the Automotive Sports Network. We're jumping right into it here today in Twig. 8 cars are going to be competing today, 2 quarterfinals for 6 laps apiece. The winner advances. Then the last 6 cars will be put into the 4-lap semifinals. The winner advances, gets a bonus point. 4 will race in the LCQ, where the top 2 will make it out to make a 6-car final for 8 laps and 2 jokers here in Vancouver. Fastest man in seating, Cody Erdman in the 82. But a penalty puts him to the back, so essentially Wetz is the fastest in seating. And we are getting ready for the first quarterfinal with Zach Johnson, the privateer Mitsubishi, making his first start this season and his first start in 4 years. Then it is Cody Erdman, championship leader, Chris Wetz, and Casey Lester. Erdman comes in with a 16-point lead over his teammate in the Drivers' Championship. Getting ready to go for the first quarterfinal here in Vancouver. It's lights out and away we go. And off the line, Erdman and Wetz, side by side, out of the pit lane and down to the first corner, missing the bank on the left side there. Looks like Erdman's going to take the advantage. They do not take the joker on the first lap out of the top 2, but it looks like that Johnson might have. At the end of the first lap, Erdman leads over Wetz in car number 71. Then it's Casey Lester in 3rd and Zach Johnson in 4th. Winding into turns 1 and 2. And out of the back stretch, over the jump. And Wetz does not joker either. As Erdman quickly pulling away from the American in car number 71. As already beginning lap number 3. As let's go on board car number 82, just to show you how frantic this circuit is. So here's the joker. Erdman is down on the beach, flying out onto the track, and that is the difference. We're going to come to 2 laps to go, and Wetz, I believe, has not jokered yet. So we'll see what that delta is, as you can make up quite a bit of time if you hit it right, but if you hit it wrong, you can end up in the fence. As Erdman still leads, Wetz does not joker. As remember, only the winner will transfer through to the final here in Vancouver. Rounding the final corner, white flag for the German championship leader, Cody Erdman. For Red Bull Subaru MRT, flicking the car through turn 1. You gotta miss those cones, otherwise that'll be a trip to the penalty box. Looks like he had to give up a little bit of time. And Wetz will joker in the 71. Very slow is the 71. It's not gonna make a difference. He comes out in front of Zach Johnson, but that doesn't matter. Erdman through to the final in Vancouver. Then it's Wetz. Then it's Johnson. And then it is Casey Lester. As quarterfinal 2 drivers exit the pit lane now. Get ready for the second quarterfinal. And there's your winner from last week, Josh Mertz. New paint scheme on that 81, but what a race that was last week in Aspen. We didn't know who was going to win until we truly finished that race, as that lead changed 3 times on the final lap. And Tristan Hagenstein, the silver Red Bull car there, what could have been for the Dutchman, as we thought he potentially would have won his first race. Grid for the second quarterfinal. It's Mertz on pole, then it's Denice in his private Subaru. It's Livingood in his Mitsubishi in a new paint scheme as well. And then Tristan Hagenstein in car number 83. Revving them up, getting ready to go under starters orders here in Vancouver for the second quarter final. It's lights out, no way we go. And off the line, it's going to be Living Good with the hole shot. We haven't said that in a while. Mertz alongside him into the first corner. Living Good pulling away. Mertz in second. Hagenstein third. The teammates trying to battle as Hagenstein goes to the Joker in the 83. Over the jump for the first time. Living Good leads. Mertz in second. Nearly contact between the teammates after the merge there. Very tricky. And this is getting good. Hagenstein is jokered. And it didn't really make a difference, unfortunately, for him, but I think he had to worry about landing on his teammate. See who jokers now. Hagenstein drills his teammate. And that's a visit to the penalty box for the 83 as Living Good jokers, and that might have just sealed the fate for him in this quarterfinal. Struggling is the Dutchman. And Living Good clear sailing now in the 51 from the commentary box. Over the jump and into the quick left-right chicane. You have everything you need at this track, and it's only a half-mile long. A banked asphalt corner, a fast flick here into turn 1, and then a slower corner at the top of the hill, a jump, and a quick chicane. So every corner you can think of is represented at this circuit. Looks like Mertz has crashed here in the quarterfinal. We'll have to go back and take a look and see what happened to the four-time champion, as it looks as though, with 2 laps to go, he will not be able to take the fight to Living Good. So I'm hearing in my headset he crashed exiting the Joker. Very peculiar for Mertz, all-time winner in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. Coming to the white flag for the Canadian Dylan Living Good, second on the wins list, and 4-time champion as well. He's had a bit of a dry spell in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. It's been since Las Vegas 2015A that he has won a race. And that was a battle between Mertz and Living Good like we had seen before in the past. But the former champion will come off the final corner and win the second quarterfinal. Doug DeNice will finish in the second spot. And it looks like it's going to be Hagenstein in third in the 83. As Living Good burns it down, we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Here's the 81. Looks like he jumps, misses the jump, and plows into the wall in the 81. A very uncharacteristic mistake from the 4-time champion. It's going to be Hagenstein, Zach Johnson, and Chris Wetz. Getting ready to go for the first semi. It's 4 laps. Joker wants its lights out, and away we go. And off the line, Wetz gets the jump over Hagenstein and Johnson. Into the first corner. The American pitches it off into the sand, and Hagenstein gets the advantage as the sand doesn't have much grip. But Wetz is able to power back. We saw these two duel in Aspen a week ago. Off the jump is Wetz. To the Joker is Johnson. And this is going to have Hagenstein pull away. As there's Johnson in the private Mitsubishi, struggling. And Wetz having all sorts of issues as well. He had a brilliant start, only to fall off the jump on the back straightaway. As the Dutchman came close last week, but still winless in the NASA RallyCross Challenge, and everyone is asking him, when are you going to be able to taste the champagne on the top step of the podium? And Hagenstein gives him a really dirty look and says, you're not going to talk about this anymore. As a few of them have slipped away from the Dutchman, but soon everyone in the paddock thinks this man will stand atop of a NASA RallyCross podium in the near future. Exiting the Joker is the 83. Looks like he clipped the wall like his teammate did, but it didn't hit him. It didn't hurt him as bad as Mertz. Halfway home, actually white flag, excuse me there, white flag in the semifinal. And there is no competition for Hagenstein here after Wetz had his little issue. So we're going to go through the chicane here, and Tristan Hagenstein will join Erdman and Living Good in the final in Vancouver. So grid for the second semifinal. Another 4-lap race here in Vancouver. On pole, it's Denice in his Subaru. Then it's Mertz in the factory MRT Subaru. Then it's Lester in his private Mitsubishi. 4 laps in Vancouver. Winner advances. It's lights out and away we go. Missing the start is Lester. It's going to be a drag race between Denice and Mertz to the first corner. Denice looks like he clipped the dirt there, and Lester trying to get him. Mertz is off the road to avoid contact, and to the Joker on the first lap goes Mertz in the 81. Get the strategy out of the way, and don't crash into the tire wall this time. He avoids it. A smart move by the German. Rounding the first corner, Denice has not jokered yet, and we can see if he can take the fight to the 4-time champion, but Mertz leads at the end of the first lap. Then it's Denice, and then Lester. So the 2 privateers trying to catch the back of the factory Subaru. And Denice jokers, so does Lester, but I don't think it'll make a difference, as it looks like he had a mistake there in the 81. I spoke too soon, so 2 to go. And this opens that gap, or closes that gap, and opens the race up for Denice. It was a 25.830 last lap from Mertz, even with the mistake. And there's the gap for the top 3, coming to the white flag here in Vancouver for the semifinal. They go quick at this half-mile track. Instead of a minute lap, we are running 25 seconds. White flag. As there's no discussion over the race format today like there was in Aspen. The drivers got through one semifinal and asked race control, why are we running a regular layout or a regular format on such a long track? Redemption for the 81, and to the final he goes in the second semifinal, winning in Vancouver. Then it is Denice, and then it is Lester. So the LCQ now getting ready to go here in Bent Twig, and this is even shorter. It is a 3-lap race, and the top 2 will advance. So Wetz is on pole in the Mitsubishi, followed by Zach Johnson in his private Mitsubishi. Then it is Doug Denice, and then it is Casey Lester. So 2 of these guys will not make it through to the final, and we'll have 1 privateer joining the manufacturer cars, the 5 manufacturer cars and 3 privateers today. We did have 2 provisionals. It was Philip Kraus in his Volkswagen and Dylan Smith in the 3rd Revolution Mitsubishi. They were unable to race today. They get 9th and 10th place points. LCQ time in Bent Twig. Getting ready to go. Lights out, and away we go. Wetz gets the jump over the 3 privateers into the first corner. Denice sails it into turn 1 to try and take the fight to the American. Beating and banging they are. 10 versus 71. Contact from the 527 of Johnson to the 71 of Wetz. And this gets interesting now. Can Wetz take the fight and make it back through? Lester side by side with Denice. It's 2 laps to go in Bent Twig. And this is why the LCQ is frantic, especially here in Vancouver, as you don't have any time to make a mistake. As it looks like Johnson had an issue there after that contact. We have to wait and see where Wetz is. He has not jokered yet. So he is on the outside looking in, currently in Vancouver, but Lester struggling in that privately owned Mitsubishi. White flag for Denice, and Wetz takes the 2nd spot and the transfer. So Denice pulling away. He does get a better starting spot if he wins versus finishing 2nd. Lester dove it in as the top 2 take to the Joker. So does Lester, but I don't think that's going to help him at all. As off the final corner, Denice wins the LCQ. Wetz transfers, winning privateer is Denice. 7th place points is Lester, and 8th place points is Zach Johnson today in Bent Twig. Gridding up for round number 8 in Vancouver. On pole, it is Cody Erdman. Then it is Dylan Livingood and Doug Denice. Back row, it's Hagenstein, Mertz, both of them in the factory MRT Subarus. And then it is Chris Wetz in his factory Revolution Mitsubishi. Getting ready to go for round number 8 here in Vancouver, Canada. Glad you can join us on the Automotive Sports Network as we are about to unleash these rally cars green in Vancouver. Vancouver off the line. It's Livingood with the hole shot, like we've said in the past seasons. Erdman second, Mertz is in third. Denice fourth, Wetz fifth, Hagenstein sixth. Let's see who jokers on the first lap. It looks as though nobody does. Erdman struggling in the Subaru in front of his teammate. So the two title protagonists having a bunch of issues. And at the end of lap one already, Livingood leads. Side by side is Wetz with Denice. And we've seen this before. These top three battled all season long in 2014B for that championship. To the joker goes Erdman in the 82. And Denice as well. And this battle's getting good. Lap 3. Erdman, second place. Livingood first. In the Mitsubishis. Into turn 2. Out of turn 2. Over the jump. It looks like Mertz is going to joker first. Erdman and Livingood make contact! And the two title protagonists from 2014B make contact. It sends the championship leader, off the road. Hagenstein makes contact with the wall, and it looks like he makes contact with his teammate. And in all of this action, who came out on top in Aspen because of some action between the teammates, and who is leading now because of action between Erdman and Livingood? It's Mertz on lap number 4. I don't think he understands that he's leading. Halfway home in Bent Twig. And the defending champion, technically, is leading the race. Just if Dylan Livingood hears us say defending champion with the 81, he won't like it. Because remember, that was not a complete season last season in 2015B. Over the jump, I think that was his second joker, so his strategy's done. 3 to go for Mertz. Wetz is in second. Livingood gets back to third. Fourth place is Denice. Fifth is Hagenstein. Fifth is Erdman, There's sixth is Hagenstein. Had a bit of a transponder issue with the 82. So this changes everything. In the Drivers' Championship, position-wise, no, but gap-wise, yes. 2 laps to go for Mertz in the 81. If he can hang on, he's going to tie his best season win-wise. 2012B, he got 4 out of 8 wins. This season, it would be 4 out of 8. And there's 2 rounds left. White flag for Mertz in Vancouver. Can he hang on and defeat Wetz? After that mistake from Cody Erdman and Dylan Livingood, we'll have to take another shot of that when the race completes. Over the jump for the final time. If he can hang on, Wetz jokers, but I don't think it'll make any difference. Off the final corner, win number 20 for Mertz in Vancouver. As Wetz finishes second, Livingood in third, Denice in fourth. Fifth will be Cody Erdman, and 6th is Tristan Hagenstein. As 7th is Lester, 8th is Johnson, and then the provisionals of Kraus and Dylan Smith. As win number 20, like I mentioned at the start-finish line, still first all-time, and he ties his record of most wins in a season, and Livingood's, I should say. They are tied on that record as Mertz burns it down in Vancouver. We will go through the points after 8 rounds. Erdman leads 235 over Mertz's 226. Then it is Wetz at 218. We're then looking for Tristan Hagenstein, 4th in points at 198. Dylan Livingood with 168. Philip Kraus in 6th with 136. Then it's Dylan Smith and Jonathan Taylor with 117, Victor Valley with 116, Tanner Smith with 113, and then it is Doug Denice with 105. As let's take a look really quick before we sign off as to what happened between the 51 and the 82 there. So here's the beginning of that lap. Livingood was leading. Once again, heartbreak for the 51. There is Erdman in the 82. And we're going to take a quick look here. Livingood runs it wide. Erdman takes the fight, and it looks like they just came together on the jump. And we're going to stick with this helicopter shot. Erdman spins, Livingood trying to save the car, and there goes Mertz. So what a race here in Vancouver. We had a long race, a short race, and then we're back to the long race. We're going down to Riverside, California for round number 9 of this 2016 A Championship. And it was another MRT win today. Who knows what'll happen there at that endurance round. Congratulations to Mertz on his 4th win of the season and his 20th of his career. We will see you next week in Riverside, California. But until then, so long, everyone.